Hello class, today we're going to be learning about range. And range asks the question, to what extent? So when you think of range, you might think of mountain range. And the reason we call it a mountain range is because the mountains range from one place to another. So for example, the Rocky Mountains range from New Mexico all the way up to Canada. So we're going to be talking about range in math today. So write this definition in your blue spiral. Range is the difference between the greatest and least number in a data set. And remember that data set is just a group of numbers. So we have a picture on the right that shows you a group of numbers. You want to find the biggest number and you want to find the smallest number and then subtract them. So you can see the largest number is 26 and the smallest number is 4. And you subtract them and you find that the range is 22. So again, we're going to go through these and we're going to talk about some steps that we go through to find the range. The first step is to put them in order from least to greatest. That's the easiest way that you can find the least number and the greatest number, or the smallest number and the biggest number. Okay, so after you put them in order, then you simply subtract the largest number from the smallest number. So here you have 180 centimeters subtracted from 150 centimeters, and you found the range in height. So the difference is how much the heights vary is 30 centimeters. So let's practice range. Here we have another data set. Do you remember your first step? Your first step is to order from least to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you've ordered it from least to greatest, you find that 11 is your smallest number and 21 is your largest number. So in your second step, you subtract the largest number from the smallest number. So you would do 21 minus 11 and you get 10. So the number 10 is your range, and that's all there is to it. So oftentimes you'll see a line plot and you need to be able to find the range on a line plot. So your largest number is 28 and your smallest number is 21. So just the same as we did before, you subtract the largest number from the smallest number, you do 28 minus 21 and you get 7. Therefore, the range is 7. So we talked about this yesterday, but I wanted to go over it again. We talked about an outlier. An outlier is a number that lies outside. That's why we call it an outlier, because it lies outside. It lies outside from most of the other values in a set of data. So here we have a set of data, and notice the range is already done. The largest number is 45 and the smallest number is 2. So you subtract the 2 and find out that the range of numbers is 43. But do you notice that most of the numbers are closer together than one other number? And it's pretty easy to spot the outlier. The outlier here is the number that lies furthest away from all the rest, and that number is 45. The number 45 lies 36 numbers away from the next closest value. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are all grouped close together. 45, however, is 36 values away. So it is the outlier. Outliers on a line plot are actually easier to spot. We've talked about how line plots, graphs, and tables are a way to visualize numbers. So on a line plot, you can visualize and see the gap in between the numbers. So you notice that 2, 3, and 4 are all clustered together, those values, and then the number 13 is really far away from the rest of the numbers. Also important to note that not all data sets have an outlier. So just like mode, you don't always have to have an outlier or a mode. But it is important to notice when a data set does have an outlier, because it will influence the average. The outlier pulls the average towards it. I always think about a game of tug-of-war, and if you add another player, like an outlier, it's going to pull the average up or pull it closer to it. So when you have an outlier, The median is actually a better way to understand the center value than the mean, because an outlier is able to pull that average up, where the median is not as affected by an outlier. So the outlier here is 13. So let's practice finding the outlier. Here we have a line plot showing the number of oranges in a bag. Can you spot the outlier? If you said 10, you are correct. 10 is the outlier. It lies away from the group of other values. So now this week we have gone through mean, median, mode, and range. Let's just go through and review them really quick. Mean is the average value. And how you find the mean is you add up all the numbers and then you divide by the sum by the number of values. So add all the numbers together and divide by how many numbers you have. You have 4 numbers in this example, so you add all the numbers together and then you divide by 4, and that gives you your mean or average. The median is the middle number. Remember we talked about median being the middle, in the middle of the road. So median represents the middle number. And how you find the median is you put the numbers from smallest to largest or from least to greatest, whatever way you want to say it. And then step 2 is the number in the middle is the median. There can be 2 numbers in the middle, so when that happens, you just find the average. You add them together and divide by 2. Mode is the most frequent number. Also, there can be no mode and there can be more than one mode. So those are some special cases of mode. There's no mode if all the numbers occur the same amount of times. There is more than one mode if more than one number is the most frequent. And then let's review what we learned today about range. Range is the difference between the highest and the lowest number. And how you find the range is just like median, you want to put the numbers from smallest to largest. So a good habit to get into is whenever you get a data set, just automatically put those numbers from largest to greatest. Once you have the numbers in order, you subtract the highest value from the lowest value. So you want to subtract the greatest number from the smallest number. So on the right here, I just have a little rhyme to help you remember mean, median, mode, and range. It goes, hey diddle diddle, the median is the middle. You add then divide for the mean. It's the average. The mode is the one that appears there most, and the range is the difference between. So great job, everyone. We have gone through mean, median, mode, and range, and you guys have done an awesome job.